Hello and welcome to the second part of the 3D printed RC speed car. In this video we'll test the car, see how fast it goes, and I'll show you the modifications that I did to the car. First of all, the biggest modification that I did to the car was changing its chassis to a shorter one, because as you can see this is changed. So if I bring the old chassis and if I turned it around, you can see how short the car got compared to the old chassis. And this is mainly because with this green chassis, the longer one, the belly was touching the ground at high speed and it was bottoming at basically every small rock, and I had to push it over. Now with this smaller, shorter chassis, the car doesn't sag at all, and now it's much better to drive because it also turns much easier. The second big modification that I did to the car was adding a radial link Minipix to the car. So basically now I can see the speed at which the car is traveling, and maybe in the future with a changed gearbox I may run some waypoint missions with it. Also added a GPS and a safety switch, just so anything happens I can switch the car off, and the GPS is needed for the heading in ArduPilot. Then the third modification is that I changed the ESC and the battery. So I've added a 1300 mAh 3-cell battery and changed the ESC so that I can put it at the Radial Link Minipix power board. Okay, and the fourth and last modification is the gearing at the back. Now the gear ratio is the same, I just made the gears wider so that they will be stronger. That you know all the modification that I did to the car, the only thing left to do is test it. Now I want you to know that I tested this car before. This is not the initial test of the car. That is because I don't want you to watch another hour-long video, and I want to make the video as short as possible. Alright, so that was it. As you saw there, I didn't quite manage to get so many high-speed runs or so many footage. That's because the car basically breaks down after 30 seconds of running, and that's because the bearings are overheating and basically melting the motor gear and breaking it. So yeah, as you see, this is the gear in question, and you can see that it's pretty melted. Now there's nothing I can do about it apart from either buying a metal bearing which wouldn't overheat, or waiting until like winter or until some colder temperatures to see if the car will be more reliable. So this is the last episode of this series. Hope you enjoyed it. The next series will be about a 3D printed RC fully autonomous plane, which will use ArduPilot as its main software and will do fully autonomous waypoint missions and long-range endurance missions to hopefully improve the flight time that I can do, because now with most of my RC planes I can do around half an hour of flight, which isn't great. And yeah, this series is done. Thank you for watching, and hope you'll be back.